Harry's rage at Meghan. Her behaviour will shock you. What an insult, what contempt. I've got the inside story. But first, this weekend, the royal family paid their respects to the heroes of 2 world wars who gave their lives for the freedoms that we now enjoy. That's why I'm wearing my poppy with pride. Now, Prince William, Princess Catherine, Charles and Camilla all hit exactly the right note on this occasion. Sombre, respectful, beautifully dressed, perfect body language, a masterclass in statecraft and public conduct. Those guys are flawless. And at the same time, on that weekend when the war dead are respected by the royal family, what's Harry up to? This is Harry, a man who would have been there at the cenotaph today, laying a wreath and dressed in uniform, if he hadn't betrayed his own country and his family. Harry is at Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party. Now, Kris Jenner being the matriarch of the Kardashian family. So you've got respect for the war dead and King Charles and Camilla and William and Catherine. Harry giving it large at a showbiz party in Hollywood. So Kris Jenner, like I said, it's her birthday. Happy birthday to Kris. She's 70 years of age. She looks about 27, which is a miracle. Does she just drink smoothies and sleep a lot? I'm not so sure. I think the surgeon's knife may have been involved. But anyhow, she looks great for her age. And let's be honest, age is just a number now. 70 is no age. So she's celebrating her birthday party. But at the party, there was a shocking snub on the part of Meghan Markle that has infuriated Harry. Harry is raging, and I'll come to that in just a second. You won't believe it. But the contrast between William and Harry now could not be stronger. What was William up to this week? Well, he was attending the COP environmental conference in Brazil, demonstrating that he's become a respected global figure and a king in waiting. He's going to be the most amazing king. King William. I can't wait. I'm itching. The only thing that stops me wanting him to be king straight away is that I want Charles to prevail for a long, long time. I'd like him to be decades on the throne because I want Charles to be on the planet. But he's an older man, he's battling a serious illness. William will become king, and oh boy, is he going to become a king. And as we saw this week, this is a guy that he just belongs among world leaders. He has that statesman-like quality. William's got the gravitas, he's got the looks, he's got the physique. He's perfect. William is perfect. Meanwhile, Harry, having a big party in California, mainlining free champagne at Kardashian's 70th. And of course, he loves the drinks because he drinks to forget he's not a happy man, and therefore he puts it away. Years ago, it was the illegal narcotic marijuana, and it's my understanding that Harry was baked for a decade. And of course, he revealed in his book Spare that he loved the weed, he loved the wacky backy, the jazz cigarettes. Well, he was on the champagne this weekend. You've got William at the cenotaph laying down a wreath, flying back from Brazil to do that great honour alongside his stunning wife. And Harry is drinking free plonk at a showbiz bash. How the mighty have fallen. And by the way, he's with the Kardashians of all people. Not the most sophisticated family, okay? Can I just level with you? They've done very well. They're all billionaires. They're very good at making money, very good at making headlines. And I'm sure that the ladies involved are very nice ladies. No, they're good-looking women. Of course they are. They're attractive. They've got brains on them. No hard feelings. But seriously, Harry is going to give up the veterans and the respectful moment on the cenotaph in Whitehall in the company of Queen Camilla and King Charles. And instead, he wants to hang out with the Kardashians, most famous for their daughter Kim, who rose to fame as a result of an extremely ill-advised adult video that was leaked on the internet. Now, the Mark Dolan show is a family-friendly show, so we will not be going into any kind of detail about that video. And all I will say is of an adult nature, highly inappropriate. The idea that the son of the King of the United Kingdom, Harry, should relinquish the opportunity to remember the war dead and hang out with a family that are mainly famous because of an adult video, the details of which I cannot share, on a family show. Yikes! How the mighty have fallen. But that's Harry's life now. Harry is, this is like a red letter day for him. He's like a kid that's won a competition, getting to hang out with Kim Kardashian, best known for some rather athletic maneuvers on camera with an ex-partner. Shocking, shocking. And I don't wish to judge, because Kim Kardashian can do whatever she likes, but it's not an appropriate setting for a guy that still calls himself Prince Harry, world's least happy millionaire. And by the way, can you imagine anything more unfortunate than getting stuck with Prince Harry at a party? So you're there with the Kardashians, you're like, hey, how are you doing, Kim? Love that video. We can't give the details of that on a family show, but great to see you again. Wow, Chris, you look amazing. You look about 23. You don't look 70. Is it Botox? You can't do any of that stuff because you're stuck with Harry. And he's like, oh, hello. Can I tell you about my terrible life? Oh, it's so awful. One day I woke up in the morning and, it's someone's job to brush my teeth, and they forgot the floss. So I get flossed every day by somebody, by the butler, called Harold. Ironic, really, because I'm called Harry. And he forgot the floss. And so all this, bits of salad and everything got stuck between my teeth. And I'll never forget it. And I'll write about it in my next book, Spare Two. And I'll call it The Floss Incident, when my manservant forgot to floss my teeth once. So that's what's going to happen. You're at a party, you get stuck with Harry, the world's least happy millionaire, who is now so excited to hang out with the Kardashians, who have done well. They've made billions, but it's not a premium brand, is it? The Kardashians, tell me if you disagree in the comments. I respect them. They are very enterprising, especially Kim. I've seen the video in it. It's physically very enterprising. But it's not premium. The Kardashians are not royal. Okay, there's no high status there. They're trashy. They're cheap. Anyhow, and the thing is, another aspect of Kim, by the way, not only was there a material filmed in flagrante with her partner back in the day, which went viral on the internet, her marriage to the lunatic rapper Kanye West was a hot mess. It was a train wreck. It was a freak show. So this is a very strange family. They're endlessly injecting things into their faces to look forever young. They're obsessed with money. It's just about billions, 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 selling their goods online. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right for Harry to fraternize with those sorts of people. But that's his life now. Why? Because of my husband. This is all about Meghan, and Meghan doesn't care because she has no class whatsoever. She's as trashy as hell. She really is. I mean, she has, in a weird way, she has pedigree because her father was a successful lighting designer in Hollywood. So he actually has some showbiz pedigree. Markle, I think he won Golden Globes. He was certainly nominated for Golden Globes as a respected lighting director who made a lot of money at the time. All of which he spent on Meghan's education. What she'd done completely ignored him, and now he's in a high-rise in the Philippines overlooking a 7-lane highway. So it's pretty wild. And, Doria, I don't know what she does these days. She's a travel agent or something. Good luck. Decent looking lady again. But, where is Meghan's breeding? So Meghan doesn't care. She's quite happy. Weirdly enough, the Kardashians are above Meghan. They actually have a higher status. They've got more money. They're more famous. And there's a cachet, I think, the Kardashians have. The other claim to fame that the Kardashians have is that Kim's late father successfully defended O.J. Simpson, which is not a great look, considering that Simpson was as guilty as sin of taking the life of his girlfriend. So that's what these people are. They got O.J. off, and the guy committed the most serious homicide. It was obvious. We all knew that he did it, and a Kardashian gets him off. It was actually one of the great miscarriages of justice in the history of the world. But this is the gilded company that Harry now keeps in his wonderful showbiz world, thanks to his shallow, fame-hungry wife, Meghan, my husband. My husband. Didn't you know I'm not Meghan Markle anymore? I'm Meghan Sussex. So, We're going to get to the key part of the story. This will shock you. I mean, you need to sit down, put your tea down. I don't want you spitting your tea out. Don't scare the pets with this revelation. Now, what I will say is that Harry remembered to wear his poppy, just like I'm wearing my poppy this weekend. And the poppy became the symbol of remembrance because after the devastation of the First World War, it was one of the only flowers resilient enough to grow on the churned up battlefields of Flanders. Its sudden red blooms springing up amid the mud and graves became a powerful reminder of sacrifice and renewal. So fair enough, Harry remembered his poppy, but you won't believe this, and I actually can't believe the words are coming out of my mouth. But Harry's wife, Meghan Markle, snubbed the veterans and did not wear a poppy. On Remembrance Weekend, with her husband wearing a poppy, Meghan snubbed the veterans, and I hate to say it, but the war dead, and she did not wear a poppy. She didn't even wear red. She could have worn a red dress with some black on it, and that's like, that's my nod to the poppy. Nothing. She was in a black dress and no poppy. Now, this is Harry's wife, therefore the wife of someone who has served in the military. So she understands the importance of the poppy, and she decided not to bother because, of course, she couldn't let it get in the way of her fancy outfit. But there's more to this than just aesthetics. This is a flex by Meghan because Meghan won't be told what to do. She's an imperious character. She's a tyrant. Meghan's a tyrant. She's an authoritarian bully. And these people, these personality types, who I think it's rooted in narcissism, which is born out of childhood trauma, she will not be, it's all about power. She's very transactional. She won't be told what to do. To wear a poppy is to be humble and to make yourself small and say, we're not worthy for those that gave their lives for the freedom that we now enjoy. That's not Meghan's mentality. That's not, as the Americans say, her vibe. That's not how she rolls. Because Meghan is a narcissist, I believe, and therefore narcissists have to believe that they are better than everyone else. And if you wore a poppy, then you're saying, you're being humble. Because I have to tell you, like full disclosure, I am lesser than those who gave their lives in 2 world wars. I'm lesser. Because what am I? I'm a broadcaster, married with 2 children, and I pay my taxes and I try to do my bit. I obey the law and I offer, at times, hopefully, a sunny disposition. But I've never had to lay my life on the line. I've never had to leave the house and say to Mrs. Dolan, I may not return, and I'm doing this for the West, for the free world. I'm doing this for England. I've never had to say that. And aren't I lucky? Because that's what thousands and thousands of young men had to do in 2 world wars, including 17-year-old kids. I mean, when you're 17, you are a kid, are you not? 17-year-old kids getting into a Spitfire, which was a special design plane for the Second World War. And these boys were getting into a plane and they'd barely been in a cockpit in their lives. And those planes, by the way, what was quite amazing, I went to a war museum recently. The construction of those planes, right, they had them made, just in a matter of days. It's a very fast turnaround. Using metals that were partly collected from what we did, things were so desperate in the war, they would cut down railings outside houses and on street signs and stuff like that. So the public sphere, they would be cutting down anything that was metal would just be chopped away and then recycled into metal to make airplanes to fight in the war. And what they used to do is these planes would get hit with German bullets and bombs, and they would come down. The plane would land, and they would basically go into like a lockup, a warehouse, and it would be fixed overnight. These amazingly resourceful men, and some women as well, would rebuild these planes overnight. So when you're 17, you're getting into a plane to face possible death against Germany. You're getting into a plane that was in pieces like 48 hours ago, right? It had holes in it with the missing wing, and it's been hastily reconstructed and patched up, and you're going back in the air. That is peril, isn't it? To go to 20,000 feet in a hastily repaired Spitfire. And that's the heroism of these people. That's why we wear the poppy. And Meghan cannot be bothered to do that. But I think it's not a mistake. It's certainly not an accident. It didn't happen by accident because Meghan is very, very focused on how Harry dresses. So she will be well aware that he's wearing the poppy. You know, they rode in together. She sees the poppy. So she knows it's not an oversight. She knows she's not wearing one. And it's not just aesthetic. It's not just about the dress. It's a flex. It's Meghan saying, I'm in charge now. And what it really is, it's a middle finger to the United Kingdom. It's a middle finger to King Charles. It's a middle finger to the royal family, the monarchy, the institutions of this country. It is a middle finger to the veterans. It is. It's and I would never swear, but it's an FU. It actually is an FU. It is. And I say that because she's married to a military man. And more than that, she's married to an Englishman. And your partner, your wife, would surely acknowledge the nationality of your her partner, her husband. And you're thinking, well, look, it's Remembrance Weekend. My husband is an Englishman. He's wearing his poppy. I love him. But, what's mine is his, what's his is mine. And I will wear that poppy, and I'll wear it with pride as a respect for my husband and for his country of birth. It's exactly like if I was married to an American lady whose name might be Tracy or Stephanie. We really don't need the example names, do we? Tiffany, she could be called Tiffany, maybe Barbara. Anyhow, we haven't got time for this. A classic example of you guys interrupting me while I'm dropping truth bombs. I've got much more on this, by the way. I cannot wait to tell you more on this. I just had to run away and get the lights back on here at the world headquarters of Talk TV. This is a slap in the face. It's a middle finger. It's actually an act of war. It is proactive on the part of Meghan. This is a scorched earth policy. It's a nuclear bomb. It's a proactive way of saying, I'm not doing this. I am rejecting the values of the United Kingdom. But she's got an English husband who served in the military. And here's the other absolute shocker and why it's so outrageous and so aggressive that she's not worn a poppy. She is Little Miss Invictus, isn't she? Harry is the face of the Invictus Games. What is the Invictus Games? It is a sporting competition participated in by injured veterans from war. That's what Invictus is. So people go off to Afghanistan and, Eastern Europe and anywhere in the world, and they tragically lose a limb, or they suffer burns, or they have PTSD, and, the whole myriad of horrific consequences of their bravery and courage. And when they finally go into rehab and get fixed up, then they participate in the Invictus Games, which is a bit like the Olympics. And it's for people who are, they're naturally very skilled. People in the military are very resourceful, very athletic, and they're strong and they're sporty anyway. But they've overcome these injuries, and it's quite a spectacle. It's truly fantastic. And Harry is the face of the Invictus Games, and his wife doesn't wear the poppy on Remembrance Weekend at a party when her husband is. The messaging here is wild. It is off the charts. And not just that, but she's very proactive within Invictus. When she's at Invictus, she makes it all about herself, wearing skimpy outfits and leading the parade. A couple of years ago at the Invictus, striding along, flashing her legs. Oh, look at me, I'm so able-bodied. I've got all my limbs intact, and I'm so fit, and I can stroll around, and I'm Meghan Markle. Didn't you know I'm Meghan Markle anymore? I'm Meghan Sussex, and I flash my legs around, and look at all my bare flesh, and I'm so able-bodied. You're welcome, my husband. So actually, she's part of the branding of Invictus. She is. She's part of the Invictus branding because she goes with him to Invictus on the launch night when he makes his boring speech ranting about politics and the Western world and how bad everything is. And so she's there. She's there for the photo call. She's there for the publicity. She's part of the Invictus branding, and Invictus is about injured veterans, and she can't wear a poppy on her dress or even a red dress with a bit of black as a nod, a wink to the poppy. Nothing. It's wild. And here's the other aggravating factor, which is that she calls herself Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. So, to be fair to the Americans, The poppy is not an American tradition. The Americans have their own wonderful and amazing way of celebrating veterans. I would argue America, Canada as well, the Australians, New Zealand, I think so. These countries are really good at acknowledging their war dead and the veterans. Those countries are really, really wedded to that legacy of sacrifice that we've had from those amazing people. So, but Americans don't do the poppy. So if Meghan was just, I don't expect Taylor Swift to wear a poppy. She's engaged to an American athlete, and she's a pop star. Why would she wear a poppy? It's not an American thing. I don't expect any celebrities in America to wear a poppy. But Meghan isn't just part of Invictus. She's co-opting the royal branding in order to make money and get clicks, calls herself Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. If you watch her TV show, at the end of the show, it says hosted by, I think executive producer, some nonsense title. And it says, executive producer, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. She's clinging on to those titles for dear life. And you can't have it both ways. You cannot have branding, which is very attached to the UK and the ancient institutions of the United Kingdom, and then not acknowledge the war dead of the United Kingdom on Remembrance Weekend. And that is her double standards. That is the wild hypocrisy. And it's truly shocking. It's actually devastating. I'm quite triggered by it. And I will say that it's ruined my day. I'm upset. I've been on the radio and TV today, Talk TV, 4 hours hearing stories of courage and fortitude and bravery. And a woman that uses royal British branding of Duchess of Sussex cannot acknowledge those people. By the way, she doesn't have to go to a fundraiser or shake hands with people she finds boring, because she doesn't like common people at all. She's a terrible snob. She's a wild snob. But she doesn't have to do that. All we're saying is just put this paper flower on your dress, which, by the way, is a very beautiful flower. And she's got enough money, she could have a gold encrusted poppy or a silk poppy. But it ain't going to happen, because this is the Meghan that we know. And what are you going to do? It's my understanding that Harry is absolutely furious about this. And so he should be, because it reflects on him. It's his wife. It's embarrassing for him. And if you look at the photos, you can see how furious he is. And I spoke to someone that knew Harry very well when he was growing up. And I said, what do you think goes through his mind when he's at this event and it's Remembrance Weekend and he's wearing a poppy and his wife's not? And this very, very well-connected journalist and broadcaster said he'll be horrified, he'll be so upset, he'll be raging. And actually, if you look at that photograph of Harry entering the party, he is raging. He's not happy. But then we know that he's not happy anyway. None of this is a surprise. He lives with Meghan. She's stopped the love bombing stage of their relationship now. And it's like a Cold War. It's quite hideous. And this is, I would argue, a new low. He's furious that she wouldn't wear it. The issue is he's got no control over her. He can't be a husband and say, I command you. It is my command as the husband. A, because she controls everything, and B, he's not a proper man. He's a mouse, not a man. We know that because he wouldn't have let Meghan Markle be so wicked about Queen Elizabeth in the documentary series Harry and Meghan, and he wouldn't have written that terrible book Spare, which, let's be honest, was ghostwritten by Meghan. And I'm not that convinced by the lineup at this party. So this is Harry's new world, okay? If he hadn't fallen out with his family and his country of birth, he would be in central London now with these lovely old gentlemen who fought in the war. There'd be wonderful stories and cups of tea and maybe a beer in the evening. And instead, he's hanging out with Oprah Winfrey, who to me is a showbiz fraud, okay? Oprah Winfrey she's a phony. What you see is not what you get. She's very wealthy, she's accomplished, and as an American woman of color, her story is a spectacular one. I congratulate her on her success. She certainly has talents, but I think she's a grifter, and she's gone crazy woke in recent years. And very indulgent, and she's a rich person. She's in that elite bubble now. She doesn't live in the real world. She's become very grand. She gets involved in politics. I'm sorry, is this rude? Let me know what you think about Oprah, but I've checked out from Oprah. And her obsession with Gayle King. They've been friends, I think, since the 70s. But, I mean, what's going on there? There are allegations of a lesbian love affair. They've denied it. Oprah said, if I was gay, I'd be the first to tell you. And I think she probably would, because it would tick more woke boxes, because she's crazy woke these days. But Gayle King and her, they got this symbiotic relationship, bosom buddies. That's fine. Who knows whether there's any more to it. But I feel a bit sorry for Stedman. Do you know who Stedman is? Stedman is Oprah's other half. Now, Oprah's worth, what, $3 billion? $4 billion? And Stedman's only worth 10 million. Poor old Stedman, he's struggling with his little business worth 10 million. And he's got to live with Oprah, although her house is so big, I'm sure he's got his own wing. But how does he feel about Gayle King being around all the time? I wouldn't be that keen on it. You know, your wife, she's got her best friends, she meets up with her friends, that's great. But, you know, they're like twins, they're inseparable. And if I was Stedman, I'd be like, Oprah, can we just can we have a date night or something? Can we get a Pizza Hut? Maybe can we get a Wendy's? Harry's favorite burger joint. Can we just watch Netflix together? And it's always Gayle, the gooseberry. Is that what they call it? The raspberry. There's an expression when you have the third person in a relationship, playing gooseberry. Is that what? I'm sure you're going to write in the comments what it's called. But it's when a third person gets in the way. But Gayle King, Oprah Winfrey were there, and not Stedman. Stedman didn't get an invitation. Poor guy, long suffering, put up with Oprah all these years. Stedman. Thanks, but no thanks. The Kardashians were there, Kourtney Kardashian, Kylie Jenner. Mariah Carey was there, and she is responsible for the most famous Christmas song of all time, isn't it? All I want for Christmas is you. She's got a great voice, a talented lady. She's had a lot of problems romantically. She was married to a music executive for a while. She's never found love, but a great lady. I like Mariah. She's a survivor. First I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. I spent so many nights feeling sorry for myself, and I grew strong, and I learned how to get along, and now I'm back from outer space. Okay, I mean, there is no time for this. Adele was there, who is another great singer. Blimey, that's two good vocalists in one building, isn't it? Adele and Mariah Carey. And Kris Jenner's boyfriend. So Kris is 70, which these days is no age. She looks about 23. But all thanks to vitamin injections, I'm told. And her boyfriend is Corey Gamble, who's 44. Well done, Kris. See, normally you get these rich old men and then the sparkling young model girlfriend. Normally the guy's tiny. Grey hair, tiny, 97 years of age, literally walking around with a drip attached to his arm. He's on an iron lung at night. He's almost dead, and then a 22-year-old model girlfriend. That's normally the format, isn't it? Very old, dying man, hot, young girl. But it's quite nice to see it the other way around, where you've got Kylie Jenner, who's 70, she does look great, and then she's got a toy boy boyfriend called Corey Gamble, who doesn't have a job, but does he need to, given the fact that his wife is a multi-millionaire? Martha Stewart was there, which is a slap in the face for Meghan, because Martha Stewart is the queen of US lifestyle and homemaking. Martha Stewart is there with the recipes and the tea towels and the knives and forks and all the different accoutrements in a perfect home, the furnishings. This woman's got style. She looks great as well. I think she's in her 80s and she's stunning. Actually, Martha Stewart is quite a stunning woman. And she's very well preserved. She spent a couple of years in the slammer. She actually was in jail, which might have been good for her. Maybe that's why she's so well preserved. A couple of years of, just reading books. Maybe she had one of those pull-up bars, like Robert De Niro in, what was the movie where he's in prison and he goes and gets himself stronger? Was it Mean Streets? No, I think it was Cape Fear. We haven't got time for this. Martha Stewart was there, and what a slap in the face for Meghan, because of course Meghan is trying to be Martha Stewart with the show With Love Meghan. Martha Stewart is an expert on home furnishings, on cookery, style. She is a genius. Martha Stewart is a genius. And Meghan is trying to be Martha, and Martha Stewart she ain't. So Meghan comes face to face with Martha. That's quite awkward. As I was saying, that Meghan's going to become a film star again, which is very interesting. And I think that she's going to fall out with Lily Collins, who's this actress that she's facing in this movie. Meghan's going to hate Lily Collins because she's a very talented actress who's in a hit show called Emily in Paris. She's done loads of other good movies. She's highly respected, nominated for awards, and her dad is Phil Collins. One more night, give me just one more night. So she's got everything, Lily Collins. She's got the pedigree, she's got the talent. Meghan will hate Lily Collins, and Meghan won't have been happy to see Martha Stewart because Martha Stewart is everything that Meghan is not. Snoop Dogg was there, who's a very cool rapper. Bill Gates was there, who, by the way, has announced this week that there's no global warming. Bill's been on a journey, hasn't he? He suddenly, after years and years of global warming, he's like, nah, not so much. He said, we have to kind of not worry so much about emissions and just look after poor people, which is quite an interesting twist. Bill's been on a journey. Bill and Melinda Gates, she had enough of Bill. What a self-absorbed dweeb he is. Strange little man, Bill Gates. Speaking of which, speaking of strange little men, and by the way, did she ditch Bill because of affairs? Because I think Bill, right? I can't say too much Bill Gates because he's obviously got access to some of the world's finest lawyers. But I think Bill's a man of appetites, and I don't know whether he's one of those hard dogs to keep on the porch, who knows. Mark Zuckerberg, on the other hand, he was there. He's the founder of Facebook, and I like him. He's also a nerd, but he's very loyal to his beautiful wife, Priscilla Chan. She's a stunner, and they've got kids, and he's done an amazing thing, which is to be one of the richest people in the world, but quite normal. He wears a t-shirt and a hoodie and jeans, and I think he's quite sweet. I think Zuckerberg is quite sweet. I mean, Facebook is kind of scary because they've got so much power and control and money, and they've certainly indulged in censorship in the past. And he actually said in a podcast that he was lent on by politicians to withhold certain important information on Facebook in order to keep the government happy. That's really bad. So but Zuckerberg, very successful. I mean, he started Facebook at university, and it was just a way of friends at university, undergraduates, being able to message each other in like one particular little, that's how small it was. And in his lifetime, he now has this global platform of Facebook, which is pretty spectacular. And that's going to be hard for Harry and Meghan because that's another accomplished person that they've got to be in the room with. And that's awkward. Justin Bieber was there as well, who's a pop star that's had a few problems. And it was Chris's 70th birthday bash held at Jeff Bezos's $165 million mansion in Beverly Hills. And this is the issue with Harry and Meghan. They don't live in the real world. They're in a bubble. They think they can lecture all of us about how to live our lives. And they talk about, mental health and save the planet. Meanwhile, they jet around the world in sort of private airplanes, and they go to parties at Jeff Bezos's house, which is worth $165 million. Not exactly keeping it real, is it? I don't think so. I'm still standing better than I ever did, looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. Yeah. Guys, listen, we have to go. It's been great to chat. Cannot wait for tomorrow's show. I'm sitting on so many big stories. Love your work. Let me know what you think in the comments. The comments are not part of the show. The comments are the show. See you tomorrow. Stay awesome. Love you loads. Bye for now. And I will always love you. Ooh, and I will always love you.